Hello everyone, in our today's video we're gonna learn how to use SUMIF, average, average if, count a, and also how you can combine it all together in a function to make it look unique and get the actual value you are looking for. And then also how you can make in your text as a uppercase, lowercase, propercase, or you can concatenate your text or trim your text. And then from an email, how you can extract the the name or domain name using right, left, len, and find. And then we're going to learn about VLOOKUP, how you can easily use and get your desired value. And also we're going to learn about using the if function and also how you can use the conditional functioning on that. So let's begin to learn about that. Now in my data sheet, I have the count for the Mondays, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And now here is the available rate over here. So I need to multiply with that Mondays count and with the rate. Then I need to also sum with all over that how much value is there. And to do that, I'm going to take a function which is sum. Then I will get the Mondays count and I will multiply it with the rate. Then also the breakfast. The same thing I'm going to do here. And for the lunch, which will be multiplied with the lunch rate, and then for the dinner it will be the dinner rate. So now I got the desired value. Now I can drag it all over here to apply all over the cell. Now you see it's not working the way it's supposed to be. It's because if you inspect that one, it's getting the value from the downward, the empty cell. And how we can avoid that one to happen? To do that, we need to make that rate cell as an absolute cell. So how we can do that? If you want to make a cell absolute, just put a $sign before that cell. So it will just take it as an absolute cell. Whenever you're going to dragging it, it will not change the value. Now we have the actual value. And if we just do it now, you see, we got all over our values over here. Now we want to all count, make the summarize of that how much count of how many Mondays, breakfast, lunch, dinner we have, and also the total amount. And to do that, basically we love to do it like we just pass a cell or other cell. We love to do that way, right? Without doing that, actually we can use the sum and we can drag it to get all the value over here. And without doing that, also you can create that like you just hold the alt tab, then put the equal sign, and then it will automatically generate that one. And now if we drag that one, we got our desired value. So now this is our total value, okay, total invoice value. Now what if we want to just know only one particular company? We have a company named Alaska. We want to know only the Alaska's total, how much it will be. And for that, we're going to create a SUMIF function, and in SUMIF it will take a range. The range will be my customer range, and from that range the criteria will be name Alaska, the company name, and then I will give the sum range which will be my total range. Now you see 9809. So just let's see is it okay or not. So we'll just make a filter over here in the customer name and remove all, select Alaska, and you see, yeah, it's 9809.5. So that is working just fine. What if we just need to know in a particular month, like the January, right? We just want to know how much is invoiced bill in only in January. And to do that, we will use the SUMIF function, but this time we're gonna use a multiple SUMIF. Like it will be some ifs, which will apply the multiple condition. Now here, first we need to give the sum range. That will be our sum range, and then we need to give a criteria range. First it will be the customer name. It will be the first criteria range, and the criteria one, it will be Alaska, the name, and then another will be criteria range 2, which will be our date, and for that date we want to take the January. So you will take only the January value available over here. So now as you see, we get only the January. Now if I just copy that February over here and paste it, you see it's changing. Or if I just, instead of Alaska, anyone having February, take the Royal, and I want to just paste the value. You see it's taking the Royal, and Royal also have February. I think it's, yeah, it's 1810. So now we have, you know how to do it. What about we want to count how many company we have over here? And to do that, actually we will use the count formula, right? And just make it count. And as you see, it's giving the 0 value, because the count, which only count, it will only work for the number. As you see over here, it will give 18 because it's only working for the number. Now what about when you want to count the text? And to do that, this is simple, because you just need to add one a, it will be count a, and as you see, it's getting the same amount of value. So now how we can extract the average of that overall item? What will be the average value? And to do that, there is another good formula which will be called the name of average, and if we just drag that one, we will get the average value. Initially, how we do that? We do that with that value divide by the number of 18, we will get that value. It's the similar of that one. So now we get our average value. Now what if we just only want the royal average value? This company, we don't want any other company. And to do that, we need to create a piece of function which will be average if, and for that it will take a range, and that will be our customer name for that range, and the criteria will be the name, which will be our royal, and the average range, which will be our that particular range. And if we now click, the average of that is 1671.5. So now with that, you can create that additional functioning over here. You can feel free to manipulate the way you want, and you can explore a bit more. It's time for our upper, lower, proper, and concatenate. Then we will trim our text, and to do that, as you see, we have a demo text over here, and that is actually in lowercase. I'm gonna just mixed up with a little bit a text over here. Now first of all, we want to make it as upper text, and to do that, just type it upper. You see the pop-up is giving as upper. You just select the cell, it will be the upper text. Just drag it, see, all the text is uppercase. And also you can make it as a lower text, use that, and the all text, it will be lower text. And what if we want to make the proper text? Then we'll just type as proper and select that particular cell, it will be in proper text. And now how we can concatenate? We have a 4 cells over here. I want that one will be in a single text, okay? And how we can do that? Let's remove the merge over here. I want that one in this one. So now to do that, we have one function named concatenate, and for that we need to select a text, and the next text we want to concatenate. And now if we just click, as you see, our text is concatenated. But as you see, there should be a little bit gap, right? There is no gap over here. So to do the gap, what we're gonna do, after that comma, we're gonna just input an empty string to just initialize the gap. So yeah, the gap is applying right now. So now as you see, this is the gap is introduced, so we have the gap. So in that way, you can concatenate any kind of text over here. And also how we can trim, as you see, there is some unnecessary gap is here. It's only single line. What about you have a very big bunch of text, which is going to happen in that way? To make it in a very good shape, we have a piece of function which name a trim. Just click the trim, and it will trim that equally unnecessary, all the the gap, it will be gone, space, it will be gone. So it's very simple to make it upper, lower, proper, and concatenate your text or make it trim. Now it's time to get the name from the email, right? I have that noor@aoman.com.om. I want only that name, that Noor will be here, other which will be gone. So now here we can just actually use a piece of state, which what I'm gonna do, this name is in the left side. So what I'm gonna I'm gonna take the function as left, and then I will select the one A4, the cell which I want to make it, and then I will take another function which will make us find, and you see after the @ we want to find the text, right? So after the @ it will go and find that. Then where it will find is that the same text over here, A4, and after that it gonna just, I need to just close that, and it will just -1. So what it gonna do, it gonna just go through from the left side. It gonna just find that a tag, and after finding that a tag, it gonna just extract that all the values as from that one as a -1. So it will extract all the value, it will only keep the name. As I drag it all over, you see only I am getting the name. If you have a bunch of email and your boss is asking only the name, it's very easy way to get all the name only from available here. What about you want the domain name, right? And for here, remember we use the like the left function. Here we will use the right function with the len. So how we can do that? Let's use that, and we're gonna write our right, and the cell we need to choose the cell we want to make it, and then we will use the length function, and in that len we're gonna also find it that similar cell we want to extract. And then what we're gonna do, I'm gonna just close it, and after that I'm gonna minus, and from where it will be minus, let's find our value which will be at the rate of, and after finding it I'm gonna just give that still in a position. As you see, it's giving me only the name after that at the rate of, only the domain name I'm getting. It's very simple, just from the right, and it's gonna be fine. So now I am having, like, if you just copy and paste in wherever you want, it's gonna work just fine. If I just drag it all together, you see I'm getting only the name and only the domain name. It's very handy if you have a bunch of email and other text. You can just tell them from which, like if you have sometimes you may have at the rate of, sometimes it can be $sign, sometimes it can be like any of the sign, you know, like that or that. You can just mention the sign, and you can just use that left right combination to get your value. Now we're gonna rewind through all the process we have been made. We have a class 6 roll number, all the roles over here, and their number in math, English, science, and geography. First we will get the total, and to get the total we will use the same sum function, and for sum and just drag all, we'll get the all number. And also we can get the average by getting the average function. We'll just drag it over here, and then let's give the average. Now we have a grading pattern over here. We need to create that grading pattern. If the number is average number is more than 60 or 60 plus, it will be pass. If lower than 60, then it will be fail. And to create that, we'll take a if function, and in that if we need to first give the logical text, and that text will be value of average. And if that average number is bigger or equal to 60, then it gonna pop up that pass, so it will be pass. Or if not, then it will be just fail. And if you combine, you see it's more than 60, so it's pass. Now if I drag it over here, it will not work. Remember, we need to make that pass and fail as an absolute value, only then it gonna work. So let's make it absolute, and now here is working. Now let's just use a conditional formatting, because whenever it's pass we want to put a green mark. So let's highlight the text. It will be text that contains. If that contains as pass, we will also custom the format. We will make it as a green, and let's see, so we have green text. And if it is fail, we will also the same way, what we gonna do, text that contain that fail, what it gonna do, it gonna give us a red mark, so it will be the red. Now you see we can easily identify which one is pass and which one is fail. Let's see how we will use the VLOOKUP function to actually find out all the available values for that rule number 5. And to find that, actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag and just get all the table size, and I'm gonna give a name over here, and that name will be like table. Just I'm gonna give a table name. So this is my table array. If you see, if I just click in table, it's selecting the available array, like that array over here. So now I have a rule number 5. So what I'm gonna do, let's just create a VLOOKUP function, and then the lookup value will be 5, and now it's showing the table array. Which array? Remember, I give a name of that array as a table, so I can select as a table array, and then which index it's gonna take. The math number is in the column number 2, so I'm gonna give a column number 2, and also I want the exact match. Let's drag it, and now see, it's giving me the exact match. So now if I drag it, of course it will not give me the desired value, because remember, if I just over here, because this value is changing. So because initially that table which we make an over here make an array, it will never change, it will be an absolute by default. Because the same thing you can do either if you just make a VLOOKUP and then get the value over here, any value, and then you manually select that array. Okay, that will be fine. We're just doing the simple thing without giving it manually. We are putting that table, we are selecting as a table in array, so it's giving us the absolute value. So also what we need to do, remember that rule number 5, that value also it will be an absolute value. So let's close it as an absolute value. Now even we drag, I think it will not be fine, because remember we select this like the column of 2. Now if we change the column of 3, we will get the 3 value. If we want the number 4, we'll get the number 4 value. And if it's number 5, it's giving all the 7. Yeah. And also if it's number 6, we'll get this number 6 value, number 7, and the last one it will be number 8. So now as you see, we already have the number. Now what you need to do, you just type the like the roll number, and it will give you the availability, whatever the result it has. Like if you have a very random text, have 1,000 cells, how you can find it? Now you just type the roll number, you get your exact value. And also you can implement the same formula over here to see text that contain. If we just want to be sure that if it's pass or fail, to do that, if it's pass, it will give you the green text, and if it's fail, then it gonna give you the oops, I need to get the custom format. Yes, and now it gonna give you the fail. So if we just take another one which is pass, see, it's giving the value. So I think that much will help you much more in your everyday work. So now if you want to learn something more about Excel, how it can give you some more idea, like if you just make Ctrl+A, it will just select all your text, like kind of shortcut things and other function advanced level, just mention in the comments below. I'm gonna prepare that for you. So all the best for your work.